from the community form that everyone filled out, there was quite a few requests for trade analysis, going over charts, and people were requesting all different levels of this kind of training. So I asked the master monks who should we get in, and Taco.eth came highly recommended from Jang. So yeah, so we're here. Um, so Taco, do you want to tell us a little bit of your crypto experience?
Sure. Yeah. So, pretty much I started. I'll be completely honest with everyone. I pretty much got started at a kind of a lucky time. My buddy was doing some Uniswap stuff, and I was nice because I bought in at ETH at around $300 US. Bought a bunch of that and was just had no idea what I was doing. Um, Ran that entire bull run up, and then last year I was like, you know what? Like, I'm doing this. I'm already pretty entrepreneurial, and I went full time into crypto, and I dedicated to learning. And then January 1st, 2021, I started a challenge, and I thought to myself, if I could do well with like a small amount of money that I can afford to lose, which for me was like I just used $500. I still had my spot bags, like stuff I was just long holding, but I started like Binance futures account with $500, and I tracked my trades every single day. And then at the end of 2021, I turned $500 into about $85,000. So not too bad after all that. Um, but it took a lot of hard work and a lot of sucking and a lot of sleepless nights. And I'm sure everyone else can, who's been in here for a while, can tell you what the middle of May felt like last year.
Yeah, nice. Well, we won't waste any time. We'll get straight stuck into it. I think you're going to share your screen with us.
Yep. Let me see. Tom, can you guys see anything or?
I can't. No. There's a little button at the bottom where it says voice connected, share screen.
Yeah. Okay. Can you guys see anything?
It's just loading up.
Yeah, it's loading up. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? Have you done this much? Have you done much streaming inside of Discord?
No.
Okay, so this I ran into having this issue. Okay, what I have to do. And there is basically there's some sort of thing setting that you got to change that basically allows you to stream. Like I was able to do it, and then all of a sudden it just stopped one day. But
Do I need to change like resolution or frame rate here? It says stream quality or something.
I don't think it's that, but there is. Where is it? Oh, screen share. So in voice and video, so if you go to settings, go to app settings, and then go to voice and video. If you scroll down, there should be a thing called screen share, and then there should be something in there. You might have to actually like install it or like accept it or click it.
Oh, shit.
Does it show up on your end? It doesn't take long. Like, it should be quick, and then you just bounce in it.
Okay. see it. It's not doing anything. It won't even let me install it. It's like stop button on it.
Damn. I wonder if you have to stop streaming to do it first.
Oh, okay. Let me try that.
Maybe stop that and then see if we can move there. Shoot, I don't know if anyone else has had that. I'm pretty sure that was the only thing I had to change was in user settings. Then it was voice and video. There was something there with and then hardware acceleration. I had that turned off, but I don't know if that was the thing that did it. I know some people were talking about that. But there's some other. Oh. It's just a mode. Shoot. Is it allowing you to do it now?
No. I'm trying to click around and figure. Let me see.
Shoot. Only other thing, and I don't know if you're showing stuff live or showing some links that you could share.
Are you on a Mac by any chance?
Yeah, I'm on a Mac.
So there's a setting in the Mac. It's like one of the security settings, and it's basically to grant Discord access to like view your screen. I can't remember what it's called. Someone here might know where to find it.
Yeah, system preferences, and then I think it might even be in like security and privacy.
Okay.
I'm looking through it right now. Security and privacy, and then I think it was just camera, and then see if Discord's unchecked.
Camera. On camera for privacy, I only see like my Chrome and Zoom and stuff.
If you scroll
It's
down,
probably gonna be screen recording. Probably the screen recording option.
or yeah, screen recording below that, yeah, on video, and then there's screen recording as well. If you scroll down, there's camera, and scroll down, then screen recording.
Oh, screen recording. Okay. Oh, Discord's unclicked.
Yeah, so click that up, and then it might get you to restart Discord.
Okay, I might have to close Discord and then I'll come back.
Yeah.
Cool, man. No worries.
Perfect. Thank you, Henry, for reminding me of that. I was trying to remember what the fuck it was because there was like a 2 weeks or so there where I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, I'm right on that too.
Monkz helping monks.
There we go.
That's it, baby. That's it. Also, who uses a Mac? Come on. Come on, guys. Come on.
I know, right? I can't use a Mac to save my life.
How many? Yeah, this looks nuts. Have any of you guys else that are on here? Have any of you guys got into either like Pulse Chain or Pulse X and played around with their exchange or anything? I think it'll come out. It'll be like next sometime in May. Hopefully, the testnet's already out. But
Sick.
I haven't even heard of it, to be honest.
All right, are we in business? Can you guys see us?
Yes.
Yeah, we
you
good. We good.
Sweet. Okay. Glad we
That's
got
good.
through that. Okay. Cool. Okay, so pretty much I'm gonna explain really basic stuff in terms of technical analysis. A lot of times when we open up a chart here, everyone gets pretty freaked out and they don't even know what's going on. They're like, all I see is this red and green stuff. So I even made like a free trial trading view. So anyone who doesn't have like any kind of software or the pro version, like you don't need that. Even when I started, I just started with trading view and it's free. So I even just made like a new account. So everything that I have access to that you guys are seeing right now, you have access to. You're allowed 3 different indicators, which you don't have to worry too much about that right now. But I'm pretty much just going to show you what the basic things and how to go around navigating kind of what you're seeing on the screen right now, right? So let's talk about stuff that is pretty simple. So everything you have here on the right side is just price. Obviously, Bitcoin's at around 39.5-ish right now. Okay. Everything on the side, you can see all these fancy little stats. I actually take this all out of here because I trade with a different kind of bias. Even even right now, the technicals, according to all of TradingView's algorithm and everything, it says sell right now. It's nice that you can see where it compares to 3 months ago, a month ago, a week ago, 6 months ago. Like, look, we're almost down like 40%, which sucks. But anyways, so we're here sitting at around 39 and a half. 39,500-ish. Okay. Very simple to read these numbers. Most of the time, it's on what the pair is. Okay. A lot of times, you'll see all this other stuff too. All these are just different indicators that you don't really need to worry about until later on. Okay. Now, in order to toggle between a lot of different time frames, you really have to, even before you get into anything, you have to understand and ask yourself, what kind of trader are you? Are you someone who actually wants to day trade? Or are you a swing trader? Or are you just a buy and hodl kind of person? Okay, so these different time frames you can toggle down here, right? These ones that I start are my favorites. Okay, so if I'm feeling like there's a good scalp, okay, which means you're probably in and out within the hour, use the 1, 5, and 15-minute time frames. For me, I actually usually most of my trades are within the day or two, so I use the 4 hour and the 1 hour a lot. Okay, so as you toggle through these, okay, each candlestick here that you can see represents that 1 hour. So for example, we just started here at 6 p.m. PST. So you can see that it's got 41 minutes left for this candle to form. Okay. So each candle here on this time frame, this 1 hour time frame, equates to 1 hour of time. Now these wicks, I won't go into specific patterns and everything. So for example, within this hour, it reached about a price of 39,674, right? So it tried to get up to there, but the volume and not enough buyers have stepped in to push this price all the way up. So now it's back to where it is right now. Now, if this price action drops below around this 39.4K area, it will start turning red because it is below the last hour's candle. Okay. I know. So I really wish that someone like explained all of this to me when I started, right? Okay. So The next thing that we want to talk about is, let's see here. Okay, so in order to add a different symbol, okay, on TradingView, an easy way is just to add this plus, so you can do stock market, forex, crypto, but obviously everything's in crypto, right? Make sure when you're picking the, let's say we're doing Bitcoin, right? There's so many different ones. So for me, I usually stay on Binance because it has the most liquidity and it's most closest to what I think the price is of the general market. Or you could go to Coinbase or anything, okay? So make sure to pick one that is closest to probably one of either Binance or Coinbase is what I would pick, just because you can stick to the biggest liquidity and the biggest exchanges on the markets. For us, okay, a lot of our technical analysis will come, especially in the Monkz where we practice all these liquidity pools and everything. We want to work on areas that will be within like a certain range, okay? But I won't get too far into that, okay? So, next thing that I want to talk about, actually, is everyone with me so far? Everyone's good?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Just
So,
quickly, Taco. So for people who want to sort of diversify their portfolio, they can jump on TradingView and not just do crypto. They can do like normal stocks and stuff as well.
yeah, that's correct. So, for example, a few of my friends do forex, and then also like you could even look up, I don't know, look Tesla, because like on anything. So you could chart anything on TradingView, which is nice. Like here, let's even take a look at Tesla, right? And you're using the same indicators, and it's saved all your settings to what you've already had here. Okay, so you can still see this blue moving average is just one of the things that I use. Okay, so you can really use it for crypto, for forex, for stocks, for pretty much anything that's on TradingView. The only bad thing, not bad thing, the only thing is with TradingView, a lot of our liquidity pools that we are providing liquidity for, they're very high trending coins. So, for example, when Looks and Ape first came onto the market, okay, well, here Ape is on TradingView now just because it's like a freaking $5 billion market cap now. But when we first started, it was not on TradingView. Okay, you had to look it up on like Dex Tools or something because the only way people were buying it was like through decentralized exchanges, right? So sometimes if you look up a lower market cap coin, it won't necessarily always be on TradingView. So I guess if there was a downfall, technically, then that's the only thing. So TradingView will have like the most popular stuff. I don't know what the threshold is when they officially like finally list it onto TradingView. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it sure does.
All right, cool. Okay, so let's just go over some basic stuff, okay? It's like drawing little pictures, okay? And I took this up because every trader on Twitter and YouTube who claims to be a freaking perfectionist and they have like a 90% win rate even, like that's bullshit. Like there's no way. Like I'll tell you right now, like my win rate is just above 50%, but my wins will probably go like 4 or 5x of what my losses are. So let's say I lose on my stop loss hits, and I'll probably lose maybe $100 to $200 or whatever, and then my wins will be like close to 1,000, right? So that's how you do it. And like I brought this up because like everyone and their mom is a trader and they say they're professional and blah blah blah, and all their charts look like this. Like it's ridiculous. So don't always believe what you're seeing from everyone. No one is an expert, even going over basic TA right now. Like, this is just what I've learned. And you got to do your own research and do what's right for you, because my situation, everyone's situation, every influencer's situation is different than yours, right? Okay. So the most basic thing for me and the easiest way to get a grip on technical analysis is what I call is just support and resistance. Okay, so a support and resistance would be simple things like, oops, like this. So we're a horizontal line where you see multiple candles touch that point. So for example, you can see a lot of touches right here, right? Or you could also see a lot of touches right here. Okay, so technically, if I were to look at it, so even look at this right here, like it, Bitcoin went to about 39.7, it hit it, and then now it's retracing back down, right? Okay, so this is what would be called like a resistance right here. Okay, resistance is something that is the price is moving up to here and it keeps getting hit and keeps getting rejected. So just look here, it moves up, gets rejected, comes back down, moves up, gets rejected, comes back down, moves
Hey,
up,
Taco, I got
gets
a
rejected.
question for you.
Yeah.
Is there a certain number of times that it hits that support or resistance band that makes it qualify for a support or resistance?
Right. So yeah, great question. So for me personally, I would say it needs to hit this thing at least about 3 times, okay, for you to consider it even kind of a support or resistance. Okay.
Okay.
Now, a lot of times when, especially when I was learning too, the more times it gets hit, you can look at it in two different ways. Number one, buyers are getting exhausted. Okay, they're trying to break through here because in order for price to go up, you literally just need more buyers and more buyers and more buyers. And every time it keeps getting hit, like they're getting worn down. Okay, it's not until they hit this resistance again. So for example, right here, but there's like much more volume. Okay. Now I won't go too far into it, but this right down here is volume. Okay. So not unless it hits this resistance with immense volume, then you can finally break through. Okay. And then look, we broke through right here. And then technically right here, you would be like, okay, like maybe this might be a good place to buy some Bitcoin or long it just because this is a support. So you could have opened from there, but then it fell through. So as soon as it falls through, you're like, oh crap, it's probably going to the next one. And then it didn't even stop there and it just kept going, right? So an easy way to find a support and resistance is try and let's just open the daily here. It's a little easier. Is to find these big areas where there's a lot of candles that have been closing right at that point. So you could say a good level is 37,750 ish, right? So we almost even wicked down to that yesterday. Okay. So people obviously knew that and they placed bids just above it to front run everyone. Okay. So pretty much when I was first getting started, I didn't touch futures, I didn't touch leverage, I didn't touch anything. When I was looking at it, I was like, okay, it seems like every time it hits this certain point, not this one's particularly, but at a different price point or whatever, if it's hit it multiple times, you can take an educated guess that once it hits here, it's going to go back up, hypothetically. Okay. And then if it hits it and just keeps going down, that's why you always have to set like a stop loss or somewhere where you think that is max pain. Or if, just like I said in the beginning, if you're just a spot buyer and hodler, like you just live with the price action because you know crypto is literally the future and everyone will probably have crypto in their portfolio within the next 5 to 10 years. They just don't know it yet, right? So a lot of us would be better off just buying dips and just holding, because that's the easiest way, in my opinion. Obviously, do your own research, but in my opinion, you just buy dips, and when everyone is super scared and freaking out, and like pretty much like right now, like I would slowly DCA, which is dollar cost averaging, into these spot positions. Okay, so support, that's pretty much support and resistance on a very 101 term. Okay, so
And that support and resistance, like shining, like when you've got them on the chart and you can sort of see where the support and the resistance is on the chart. If you're doing LPs, that's sort of good to be able to notice, because if you are like heavily into LPs, that's where you can set your range and feel a bit more safer if you're only doing a very tight range.
yep, exactly. I'm actually gonna let's pull that up. Dex. So I actually had this is when I first was starting to dabble into um, liquidity pools. Okay, so I'm just jumping into this really quickly just to kind of answer that question from Stags. So in terms of liquidity pools, you want to set a range where you think that this specific pairing will consolidate. Okay, because you want, because all the trading that's going on in that specific range, imagine it was just all in this range, then you're collecting fees on all of that stuff, right? So for example, I know I think I saw Patrick, he had like an ETH USD position, a pretty simple one, which is just, it's easy to pair it against USD because you know that it's not going to move. Okay, so for example, if we set up a liquidity pool position just within this range, right? Because you're like, oh, I'm going to set up a super tight range from about 3,400 to about 2,690, whatever. Okay, like you could do that. And then in order to make it tighter, you would again use what we just went over, which is like, you know, support and resistance. And then depending on how tight you want your range to be, right, you could even extend that to like right here. Okay, and then once it breaks out, then you know, then you could either leave it and hope it comes back down, or open another pool, right? So in terms of liquidity pools, TA is very good in terms of that, because you want to find a range where it's going to stick for as long as possible. Like in a perfect world, to avoid like all that impermanent loss stuff, which I haven't looked too much into, to be honest. But in order to avoid all of that, you want to enter and exit within at like the same price range where you started your pool. Okay, so that brings up kind of the next thing, which is like consolidation areas. So for example, Ethereum, right here, Ethereum USD is consolidating like in these areas. So for example, like if you're opening a liquidity pool, like this would be a dope range, right? Because it's stuck here for such a long time since like the beginning of the year, from 23 20 sorry 2.3k to about 3.5k, right? So even if you're trading these more volatile pairs, you can still set up these positions. Right. So you can still set up these positions up in a certain range, but obviously the broader that you set it up, not the high, the APY is not as high, right? And this thing, even after being in crypto for freaking this long, like I just figured out that that you can toggle between the ETH pair and the USD pair just here on DEX tools. Okay. I probably wouldn't use the 15-minute time frame just because that thing will go crazy and you'll just FUD yourself out like crazy. So go into the 1 and 4 hour time frames in order to, in my opinion, be a little bit more profitable in terms of liquidity pools and stuff. Cool. Okay.
Cool as a cucumber.
Right. Cool. So, I know like everyone will probably be like, okay, dude, like that makes sense and everything, but like, just tell me where to buy and tell me where to sell, Taco. Like, I just want to make money. Like that's all I care about. Like I don't give a shit what all this stuff that you're talking about is and whatever. All of that comes with a combination of a bunch of different indicators and practice. So for example, like what I trade on is like Bybit. Okay, I'll trade on Bybit, Binance, FTX. Those are the main ones that I use. Okay, so everyone again, like this is very familiar with everyone that we just went over. It's just within the platform, so you can literally open limit buys and market sells and market buys and everything here. Here you can see where all the order book is and all these flashy numbers. So this is in real time what's happening, all the buyers and sellers. Okay. And again, if you're trying to get slowly into a position or not, you just use exactly what we just did. Okay, support and resistance. So, well, we're at like kind of a point right now. So, we either gotta break this or we're coming back down. So everything you're able to see these charts. You don't have to necessarily be on TradingView. So that way you can make these buys and sells within the platform or the exchange that you're using. And most of them have TradingView, like literally look, it's TradingView incorporated within that exchange. Okay. So that's the basics. I will give you guys just a few more things of what I specifically use. Okay. In terms of indicators. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to hop over and just check if there's any questions here. If you have one for you, fine. Yep. Yep, you're right. Whatever PK Fire 444 is. If it's not, it's literally on DEX tools. Go in more depth about stop loss and take profits. Okay. Actually talk more about each of the trading platforms and why you use them. Okay. So, Miss Lynn 22, stop losses and take profits are areas. This is a little bit more in advance, but you could tie that into literally exactly what we talked about, okay? Which is just support and resistances, okay? So if I was just doing this really quickly, like within the day, okay, I just did this trade yesterday. So I bought it at about 38K here. And then I had a DCA down to just below here at around 37,700. Okay. And then I saw that there was a bit of a resistance at about 39K. So you just have to find these support and resistances where you want to take profit and have your stop loss. So for example, my stop loss, if I bought it at 38K, would usually be, now this is a lot more advanced, but whatever. So if I longed right here around 38K, my stop loss is usually below the most recent wicks down here, okay? Or if we're going according to some other, just some other technicals, I usually go down about whatever about a 2% loss is. So that would probably be around the same area anyway. Take profits. I'll always take profits slowly. So as much as I DCA in, I DCA out too. So every area that I think has a bit of resistance, that's where I'll take a little bit of profit. So for example, big whole numbers like 39K, 40K especially, like people just like these big round numbers, okay? Those would be take profit zones for me because that's most likely when a lot of other people are selling. Now, for me, I would not sell right at 40K because obviously a billion other people are going to be selling at 40K because they're probably like, oh my God, I bought it at 40K. I just want my money back and I'm just going to sell it at 40K. Well, all the traders out there are probably going to be like, well, okay, well, F off. We're just going to sell it at 39.8. So I'll just slowly have a few sells and take profits just before that resistance. Okay. Okay. Can you potentially talk more about each of the trading platforms? Yeah. So, like I said, I use Bybit, Binance, FTX. I like to use those because they have a lot of liquidity on there. And I don't like some of the smaller exchanges like KuCoin, Ascend EX. Those will have less liquidity, so they could wick you out and have just this random candle that just goes like does one of these, like just wicks you. Imagine your stop loss was like right here, and then if you're on an exchange that has less liquidity and less amount of, and look, by when I say liquidity, I mean like there's not enough there's not enough Bitcoin on that exchange enough to support that price. Then it will just wick you out, hit your stop loss, they take your money, nobody wins except the exchange. Okay, so back to what I was really quickly saying is here, I'm just going to give you guys a few indicators that you just want to, if you want to play around on TradingView on the free version, these are, you're allowed 3 separate indicators to use on the free version. And these are the ones that I use, okay? For me, I use the 200-day moving average, especially. So every time it has come here, like see, for example, it hit it right here, like it literally got rejected off that. So 200-day moving average is something that I kind of use just to see the general trend of the market. So what a 200-day moving average is just the last 200 candles on the day chart. If you go to the 1 hour, it's the same thing. It's just within the time frame that you're choosing. Okay. The next thing that I use is the RSI, which is the relative strength index. Okay. Look that up if you really want to get. I'll probably go into that later on if we do this again. And then another one that I use is the MACD. Okay. I'm not going to explain that and bore you guys to death, especially the people who are a little bit newer and overload your brains right now. But for me, I use a moving average, an RSI, a MACD, simple like support and resistance, and then this is volume. Okay. Those are the most important to me that I use, and pretty much like if someone were to ask me how do I trade, like because I've been doing it for long enough, I can just kind of look at this and kind of already know what I'm gonna do with it. It's just practice. Okay. Okay. Last thing before I just hit up all these questions. Okay. So, as much as all of this technical analysis is great and everything, all it takes, and I literally favorited Doge. All this takes is one Elon tweet, or sorry, one announcement to like send Doge. Like, look at this. This is ridiculous. Okay, from like 12 cents to like 17 cents within a few hours. Okay. So as much as TA or technical analysis is very, very important, fundamental analysis is will always hold more weight than technical analysis. So obviously, like when Tesla announced that they got Bitcoin, or I don't know, who if like Amazon is like, oh, we just added Bitcoin to our balance sheet, like of course that's gonna send like that coin and get a bunch of interest from everyone. Okay, so my favorite places to get fundamental news is obviously Twitter, but you got to make sure you follow the right accounts. I'll probably send them in the chat or anything. And oh my god, I just see if he switches to dark mode. Oh my god. Okay, guys, if you literally see like my other charts, they're all in dark mode. Okay, but I'm just using the free as soon as you open a TradingView account view. Okay. So Twitter for news. My favorite one is called Briefly Crypto from Telegram. They are pretty good with keeping up to date just in all the news, and even at the bottom of it, it says sentiment, which is like positive, negative, or neutral. Gets you a pretty good sense of what's going on in the market. You could watch YouTube. Please, for the love of God, don't watch BitBoy Crypto. I'm just joking. Some of his stuff is pretty good, but the guy's just a paid shiller. Anyways, I'm not going to get into that.
I'm just kidding, but seriously.
Benjamin Cohen's pretty good if you want TA on it's not shilling, right?
Yeah. So for news, which will always outweigh TA, Altcoin Daily is pretty good. Actually, you know what? I'll just send a screenshot in the VC text chat or something, or I'll send it to Stags and he can hook you guys up. So briefly, crypto on Telegram. Hit up Twitter. Make sure you follow the right accounts, not the people who just shill their own bags and then drop it on you. And then YouTube's pretty good, but by the time they upload and film all that stuff, it's like probably gone, unless you're a spot and holder. Yeah. Okay. Oh, and last thing. Okay. Last thing. Wait. The Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index. Actually, I like the Twitter version of it. There you go. This thing is pretty good in terms of just market sentiment. So obviously, you can get a sense of where we are. In my opinion, obviously not financial advice, you want to do literally what the opposite of this is. So extreme fear, I'd start DCAing in. And if it's in the green, you want to DCA out, right? Okay. Wow, Stags, you on the ball, bro. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for beginner stuff. I don't want to go too far into this stuff, but I'll just head over to the text chat and see if there's any other questions. Oh, yo, PK Fire, you on fire? You already know what's up, so that's good. Yep. Dope. We got
Taco, there was a question right at the beginning.
Okay.
I don't know who it was from. They said, "What sort of business stuff did you get into before, and did it help you with your crypto trading?"
Oh. Yeah, so I think being an entrepreneur, to be honest, even before all of this, has helped me a lot with the mindset and psychology. I'll tell you this much: this entire technical analysis is literally goes off of the human psychology. So all of these levels, all of these trends, all of this is based off of previous history. We're trying to guess what the human psychology will do when they see number go up or number go down. Okay? We're literally guessing. Okay? Being an entrepreneur and running business before that has pretty much helped me be strong and mentally, because on some days like crypto sucks. Like you look how volatile this thing is. Like imagine you're like, oh my god, I'm the best trader in the freaking world. Life's good. Like I'm up like $100,000, and then just kidding, I just lost all of it because I didn't hit sell. Right. So a lot of it comes from psychological training, and I used to run an online business as well. Actually, that's how I know Jang too. Um, it's from online business and marketing and everything. So previously from this, since I was on the computer already, I was like, yo, I need to learn all this stuff anyways. But yeah, I mean that's kind of what has helped me through it. So being an entrepreneur and knowing that you won't have anyone there but yourself to rely on. So yeah, like you of course you have all these alpha groups that you can bounce ideas off of, but you're the person at the end of the day hitting buy, you're the person at the end of the day hitting sell. Like every decision comes down to what you've taught yourself and what training you've gone through and what experiences you have. But most importantly is like to surround yourself with people and groups that you could learn from and like grow from, and that's how you just make progress, right? Does that kind of make sense? Did I miss any other question?
I was just going to ask one real quick. How long did it take you to develop your, um, I don't know, just not fear of watching them, like basically just watching the market do its thing? Like when I place a position, I used to always just sit there and watch it. And I learned that I need to work in intervals, right? So, if I was going to set a position for 3 days, then I was going to stick to it regardless of what happened, right? It's like, do you feel yourself ever dragging into that, or do you ever feel like that's the way that you approach it, or is it strictly watching the position reaching a maturity point and then just getting out, or do you ever really just try to work on like a frequency as well?
No, so yeah, that's a great question. And when I first started, I'd be lying to you. As soon as I entered a position, I'd literally watch it like a freaking hawk, and I would be anxious, and I would take out my stress and anxiety on my
Yeah.
family and friends or whoever was around me, and they're like trying to talk to me. We're like literally at like dinner, and I'm like watching my phone, and they're like, "Dude, what are you doing?" I'm just like, "Yo, like screw off! Like I'm in a position right now." And I'm like such high stress and anxiety, but that just comes with practice, right? And a lot of times, I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't open a position and I still didn't like freak out about it, because as much as you want to say I trust my TA, I trust my research, I trust my levels, I trust all of this stuff, I trust my 2 years of experience. Like even the best traders in the world are gonna lose, and you have to be okay with it. You have to trade like a robot. You have to do your best to like just go in, have a plan, stick to the plan, and then just go with it. And if you fuck up, like the reason why like you fucked up is because you made that decision. So
I,
you just gotta
yeah,
yeah, go
there's a
ahead.
cycle. Yeah, I just wanted to like touch on this real quick, and I know we're into this, but there's this kind of like psychology play that you have to understand that before you make a decision where you move into a position, you're observing your risk and you're saying, what am I willing to lose? All right. And a lot of us, that's the way you really need to think about it. Not, hey, this is how much I think I'm going to make. A lot of times
Mhm.
it's like, I'm working with the money I'm willing to lose. Now, when you get into the position, the cards are on the table. You are no longer in control. The market is in control. So you're
Mhm.
going to be emotional at that point. You're going to be reactive. And I thought, uh, just if you can identify that part about you when you're in a position that you're being reactive, that you probably need to trust the version of you that is more proactive when you have the cards on your table and understanding what the risk was, then you can kind of think of yourself as like, I just need to believe what I was, what I started with, and I just need to see it through. And I think that, that was probably, that's how I did it personally. Like that's how I just started observing myself individually.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And especially when getting into things, you have to think of, don't always think of, like, even though things, like, you set all this up, it won't necessarily happen, even though you played it all out in your head and you did all your TA and everything. But just be ready to lose what you just put in, okay? And you just have to have risk management. So for me, if you want to start touching trading, like I literally am only doing like 1% of my entire portfolio or less than that per position, right? So you just want to make sure that your risk management is like the number one priority. If you only have like $50,000 in the bank, I'm not going to be putting $10,000 on a position, right? Like you're literally setting yourself up for like high stress and anxiety. So if you have to babysit your positions, like your risk management is already thrown out the door. You're risking too much. But even so, after all that, I even tell people I really don't like going to sleep with an open position, like as much as that, because I can't sleep. Even like after all this time, I can't sleep. Like so, all my scalps and everything and my swings, unless I'm extremely confident or I've moved my stop loss into profit or break even, like I can't sleep. Unless it's my spot stuff, then that's just different because I'm just buying that to like forever hold anyway. So
Right on, man. Well, thank you for putting this on. I really, really appreciate it.
sweet, yeah, no problem. Hope everyone got some value from that today. If people like what they kind of learned from today, then I can go a little bit more in depth on specific things, and we can create like a little part two, part three, etc. moving forward. So
Yeah, that sounds amazing. Thanks heaps for donating your time today, Taco. I've, for one, really enjoyed this. So yeah, we look forward to having more and more of these.
Yeah, let us know how we can help too. I really appreciate you coming on here and taking the time. Like that's very generous of you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks a ton, bro. Appreciate you taking the time, man.
no, thanks
Absolutely.
guys. Great to share. Yep.
I mean, yeah, just let us know if we can do anything to help too, because like I said, the more of this, the merrier, man. I really do appreciate it. Thank you.